On March 7, 2023, a man collapsed inside a crowded Gaza commuter train moving between Rafah and Gaza City. Passengers believed he suffered a sudden medical emergency. He was Hammad Shamshi, a clandestine missile engineer whose death triggered global whispers. Within minutes, Hamas security agents sealed the carriage. Paramedics scanned his body, puzzled by the absence of wounds, blood, or visible trauma. He looked asleep, yet his pulse had already vanished. Something had killed him without leaving any ordinary trace. Outside, passengers filmed chaos on trembling phones. Rumors jumped instantly from station platforms to encrypted channels. Some said he was poisoned. Others swore it was a drone-guided chemical dart. Silence from officials only fed speculation and fear. By nightfall, regional intelligence groups were already pulling files. Shamshi was not a random commuter. He was a priority target whose work on extended-range rockets altered battlefield mathematics. His death meant strategic relief for one nation, strategic crisis for another. Journalists asked how such a high-value figure moved unguarded. Analysts wondered why Hamas failed to protect him. Researchers of covert warfare whispered a single phrase repeatedly: signature elimination, a kill that leaves no evidence behind. A perfect operation. Who planned this? Was it Israel, operating deep inside hostile territory with invisible precision assets? Was it an allied intelligence service working through contractors? Did internal betrayal open a corridor for surgical penetration and timed elimination inside a moving train? If Mossad did it, how did operatives enter Gaza, infiltrate surveillance corridors, track a hidden engineer, and kill without detection? If not Mossad, then who possessed technology capable of death without residue, poison, bullet, or blast signature during daylight transit? If it was internal betrayal, why now? Did factional rivals eliminate a rising figure whose innovations threatened their influence? Did a foreign intelligence service bribe insiders for route schedules and carriage positions? What price buys betrayal inside the world's most surveilled enclave? Why kill him on a train? Why choose a public moving target rather than a safe house strike or air attack? Was the location symbolic, operationally convenient, or required by a new weapon system demonstration? Who wanted witnesses yet ensured confusion? One man died quietly between steel rails and concrete walls. Yet the ripples of his death reached foreign ministries, war rooms, and intelligence bunkers. This was not merely a fatal event. It was a message carved through silence, precision, and cold intent. Hammad Shamshi was born in Khan Yunis in 1985, the middle son of a mechanic and a school teacher. His childhood unfolded inside cracked concrete streets, Israeli drone hums, and an environment where conflict shaped ambitions more than textbooks or mentors. He showed early mechanical talent, dismantling broken radios and rebuilding rusted bicycles into strange contraptions. Teachers remembered an intense boy who stared silently at machines for hours. He memorized wiring patterns faster than classmates absorbed basic multiplication tables. Relatives described him as polite yet distant. He rarely played with cousins, choosing instead to sketch mechanical diagrams in discarded notebooks. The loneliness was not sadness, they said. It was focus. He possessed the urgency of someone constructing something unseen. During adolescence, his fascination moved from bicycles to improvised fireworks. He learned chemical ratios from contraband pamphlets, replacing childish enthusiasm with calculated experimentation. It was not ideology then. It was raw curiosity about propulsion, velocity, and explosive force contained inside ordinary household objects. His family assumed he would become an engineer. Instead, he absorbed underground political lectures delivered by older students. They spoke about occupation, resistance, and technological asymmetry. He realized weapons were simply machines with different purposes. His innocent experiments gained darker meaning. By 20, he was known among peers as the quiet inventor. He fixed surveillance radios for militants, modified household drones for reconnaissance, and built crude mechanical triggers using salvaged parts. Every improvised solution proved his mind operated ahead of available resources. He was not charismatic. He did not give speeches. He spoke through trial devices, hidden launch switches, and prototype pipes that launched small rockets across abandoned orchards. His identity evolved from curious builder to crucial contributor without dramatic ceremony or public declaration. His ideology was described as coldly mathematical. He believed resistance required engineering superiority rather than slogans. He kept a strict work routine, drank bitter tea constantly, and rarely smiled. Associates said he viewed war like a physics problem awaiting solution. Internal documentation nicknamed him the Calculator. Others called him the Tinker Saint, mocking his tireless work ethic. He liked neither title. He told comrades machines did not care about poetry. They either fired correctly or killed their operators instantly. His transition into full militancy began after the 2009 war. He saw destroyed homes, including his childhood neighborhood. Something hardened. He volunteered for clandestine engineering cells, insisting his skills could change battlefield geometry. Leadership accepted eagerly. They needed thinkers, not speechmakers. He soon became indispensable, designing launch platforms requiring fewer personnel and shorter exposure time. His innovations drew attention from foreign intelligence analysts. They observed rocket range increases, improved reliability, and new ignition systems. Each upgrade quietly shifted strategic balance by measurable increments. By 2021, he was considered irreplaceable. Foreign newspapers never printed his name, yet classified dossiers listed him alongside senior command figures. He was not a public leader, but he built the weapons leaders depended upon. His life became secrecy, solder fumes, and constant movement. His first clash with authorities came in 2007, when Israeli patrols intercepted a workshop assembling improvised detonators. He escaped through underground tunnels while several collaborators were captured. Intelligence officers marked his name for future monitoring, unaware how important that name would become. In 2008, Egyptian police arrested him near Rafah for possession of restricted chemicals. He spent 6 months in detention, interrogated about smuggling networks. Afterwards, observers noted a change. He became disciplined, patient, and cautious. Recklessness disappeared, replaced by cold operational planning. When questioned later, comrades said imprisonment radicalized him more than lectures. Guards beat him for refusing to identify suppliers. He emerged with bruised ribs, learning lessons about secrecy, loyalty, and the value of technical knowledge as strategic power in asymmetric conflict. Stories circulated that he endured sleep deprivation and electric interrogation. Whether exaggerated or not, something shifted. He stopped trusting intermediaries. From then onward, he built devices alone, never allowing others to observe final assembly. Safeguarding methods like guarded mathematical proofs. He joined a clandestine engineering wing not publicly listed among militant brigades. Ex-intelligence files reference it as Unit 15, a technical division specializing in adaptive rocket platforms. Members were ghosts, working underground, unseen even by many within their own organization. By 2012, he redesigned launch rails enabling faster deployment and reduced thermal signature. The first operational test struck an Israeli military staging area. Analysts noted improved trajectory stability. His name entered foreign intelligence cables, coded as Target Sparrow 11. His responsibilities expanded into smuggling coordination. He oversaw procurement of carbon fiber tubes from Libya, ammonium compounds from Sudan, and electronic timers from Turkey. He never traveled but controlled shipments through encrypted chats, proving logistical mastery equal to engineering skill. Between 2013 and 2016, multiple kidnappings along Gaza border tunnels were attributed to units equipped with his customized booby traps. Israeli reports documented magnetic charges triggered by vibration sensors, devices unknown before his involvement. His fingerprints were invisible, yet patterns revealed his logic. When Hamas internal records listed weapons incidents, his projects appeared repeatedly. Mortar upgrades, underwater drone tests, adaptive warheads with motorized stabilization. Each incident escalated Israeli retaliation. Each retaliation escalated funding for his workshop. Violence increased like a mathematical sequence with no plateau. Intelligence dossiers identify 5 key incidents. April 2014, extended range test rocket landing near Ashdod. August 2015, failed prototype detonation killing 2 engineers. January 2017, cross-border drone reconnaissance using modified commercial quadcopter. June 2018, guided short-range missile demonstration. March 2019, factory explosion. Foreign agencies attempted to kill him multiple times. A booby-trapped warehouse in 2017 detonated hours before his arrival. A drone strike in 2019 missed by 90 seconds. A poisoned shipment failed when he randomly delayed inspection. His survival frustrated planners. His notoriety grew internally. Young militants whispered he was untouchable. Others feared him, believing his work invited inevitable retribution. Families living near workshops relocated. They understood proximity to him meant proximity to precision airstrikes and silent night raids. He responded by becoming even more mobile. Workshops shifted weekly. Equipment traveled on donkey carts disguised as fruit shipments. Designs were split across multiple hiding places. He turned secrecy into a science, understanding survival as another engineering problem requiring continuous iteration. Former associates said he rarely slept. He checked rocket chambers with trembling hands, terrified of misalignment. He believed one failed design could kill comrades. Paranoia became devotion. He trusted devices more than humans. Machines, he said, never lied to survive. By 2022, foreign intelligence agencies classified him as a strategic threat, not because of ideology, but because he represented technical evolution within militant structures. Eliminating him was not punishment. It was the removal of exponential capability. Mathematical equilibrium demanded his death. By 2021, his name appeared on multiple internal Israeli priority lists. Analysts noted his work increased rocket range by measurable percentages annually. He was not merely a technician. He was a force multiplier whose existence altered battlefield mathematics and strategic risk calculations. American intelligence cables described him as a rising generational threat. European agencies monitored procurement routes related to his designs. Egypt submitted classified warnings about tunnel transfers connected to advanced propellant compounds. His technical signature was visible across several continents. Official Israeli documents labeled him Tier 1 high-consequence engineer. This classification reserved for figures whose removal significantly reduces enemy capability. His elimination became a matter of algorithmic threat assessment rather than emotional retaliation or ideological targeting. Each assassination attempt revealed his caliber. In 2018, a remotely detonated device destroyed a warehouse minutes after he left. In 2020, a drone fired a miniature missile at his convoy, killing 2 bodyguards but failing to reach his armored compartment. A shipment of poisoned ball bearings appeared in 2021, hidden among legitimate machinery parts. He personally inspected the crate and ordered its immediate destruction. Observers concluded he possessed rare intuition, possibly driven by experience, paranoia, or constant internal threat calculations. Hamas leadership understood his value and vulnerability. They rotated safe houses, issued decoy travel schedules, and assigned different escorts weekly. Yet every protection measure created movement patterns. Every pattern provided foreign agencies analytical footholds for future precision strikes. Foreign operatives studied his habits. He refused cars without custom ignition modifications. He avoided routine pathways. Yet he loved rail transport, believing extended civilian presence provided cover. That pattern would eventually become the weakness, leading directly to his demise. Israeli planners predicted his downfall would require patience, proximity, and deniable methodology. They sought a kill mechanism producing natural death appearance, avoiding airstrikes or explosions. A silent elimination inside public transportation would disable suspicion and expose no traceable ordnance. Internal intelligence reports suggested inevitability. Each technological advance he produced raised foreign urgency. Survival probability narrowed mathematically. Statistical modeling indicated he could not evade elimination indefinitely. Every movement increased detection chance. Time, not faith, determined the moment of execution. He understood the threat. He worked harder, slept less, traveled quietly, and trusted no one. Yet the world around him shifted. Algorithms plotted trajectories. Foreign officers approved budgets. Eventually, one decision sealed his fate. The train doors closed. His countdown began. The struggle between Israel and militant factions in Gaza is rooted in territorial displacement, competing historical narratives, and unresolved claims of sovereignty. Every technological breakthrough, every assassination, and every new missile prototype exists within a conflict defined by cycles instead of resolutions. For decades, Israel sought to neutralize rocket capabilities emerging from Gaza. Each range extension altered strategic depth, exposed new civilian areas, and forced recalculations in military doctrine. A single engineer who improved projectile performance could shift regional deterrence significantly. Hamas viewed engineers like Shamshi as weapons equalizers. They believed missiles terrified cities more effectively than speeches. Low-cost rockets that forced billion-dollar defense systems represented asymmetric victory. Technology, not territory, became the new terrain of contest. Regional powers watched closely. Iran allegedly provided technical blueprints and raw materials through covert logistics chains. Turkey ignored certain exports. Qatar funded infrastructure indirectly. Egypt alternated between cooperation and obstruction depending on shifting political priorities and international pressure. Western governments condemned militant rocket development, yet monitored technical evolution with fascination. Reports circulated through NATO intelligence forums, describing new carbon fiber casings, enhanced ignition chips, and unusual propellant formulas. Each referenced the mysterious Gaza engineer known in files as Sparrow 11. Inside Gaza, every major war reshaped scientific priorities. After the 2014 conflict, research shifted toward remote launch capability. After 2021, guidance accuracy became obsession. Engineers worked underground like insurgent academics, converting basements into laboratories fueled by survival urgency. Israel responded through layered strategy. Missile defense systems intercepted projectiles. Intelligence units mapped chemical pipelines. Diplomatic channels pressed foreign governments to restrict shipments. Covert units pursued engineers individually, believing destroying mines was faster than destroying every prototype. Assassination campaigns developed parallel historical significance. From the 1970s onward, Israel targeted individuals considered nodes of future threat. These operations became global signatures, studied by analysts the way military historians examine tank battles or naval blockades. Modern geopolitics complicated everything. Media narratives constrained overt strikes. Drones reduced exposure, yet risked misidentification. Cyber tools offered data, but not always location. Eliminating one man required synchronization of political timing, intelligence, certainty, and plausible diplomatic deniability. Meanwhile, militant movements mythologized fallen engineers. They framed them as martyrs of science under siege. Children learned their names like heroes of underground universities. Each death inspired recruitment, creating a perpetual cycle of innovation matched by perpetual targeting. Foreign intelligence reports debated whether killing technical figures delayed progress or accelerated it. Some argued assassinations encouraged specialization and secrecy, forcing innovation toward harder detection. Others insisted they interrupted institutional memory, reversing capability by years. In this landscape, Hammad Shamshi mattered because he represented dangerous continuity. He survived multiple wars, retained knowledge, and passed breakthroughs into operational stockpiles. His death was not symbolic. It was a calculated attempt to collapse a technological curve, rising dangerously fast. The operation began months earlier, inside a classified command center near Tel Aviv, where analysts tracked Shamshi through pattern recognition algorithms. They discovered his preference for early morning rail travel, believing crowded carriages provided anonymity unavailable in cars or guarded convoys. Operatives entered Gaza using forged humanitarian credentials and medical supply documentation. Their cover identities matched international volunteers, assisting aid groups. They carried harmless equipment. Yet, embedded within crates were micro-devices resembling medical readers, but functioning as chemical dispersal modules. Safe houses were rented near Rafah, under fake Syrian refugee passports. Digital transfers routed through multiple cryptocurrency layers concealed funding sources. The team maintained separate movements, never appearing together. Every interaction followed one-time pad communication protocols to eliminate electronic traceability. Surveillance began with simple observation. They photographed entrances, measured platform lengths, and mapped blind spots between ceiling cameras. A rail maintenance worker, unknowingly bribed, provided locomotive maintenance schedules. This information revealed exact carriage alignment patterns at critical boarding stations. Next came signal interception. Engineers deployed disguised Wi-Fi amplifiers near ticket checkpoints. They captured encrypted network pings from militant communication devices. When one device repeated Shamshi's known encryption signature, they confirmed his presence without risking direct tailing or physical approach. The kill mechanism required innovation. Traditional poisons risked trace detection. Bullets created political fallout. Instead, They chose a micro-aerosol compound activated by timed dispersal trigger. It induced neural shutdown within seconds, leaving no easily identifiable forensic markers inside bloodstream or tissue. Operatives installed the dispersal nodule beneath a seat frame 3 days before assassination. It remained inert until triggered by proximity sensor reading Shamshi's specific mobile frequency. No detonation occurred. No sound escaped. A chemical blink replaced traditional kinetic violence entirely. On operation morning, surveillance confirmed his entrance at Konyana's platform. He wore simple grey clothes, carried a folded document tube, and displayed no visible protection detail. Operatives boarded separate carriages, maintaining calm expressions while monitoring environmental sensors through concealed wrist screens. Shamshi sat near the target seat, unaware the mechanism armed itself automatically. Once his device connected to nearby network repeaters, the system recognized signature hash, releasing a barely perceptible plume lasting less than 3 seconds into surrounding airflow. He exhaled sharply, blinked twice, and collapsed sideways. Passengers assumed fainting. Someone shouted for water. Another demanded medical help. Meanwhile, operatives remained motionless. Their sensors confirmed compound dispersal completed. Secondary neutralizers activated automatically, denaturing remaining traces beyond forensic detection. Within minutes, platform medics arrived. They detected no heartbeat but observed no trauma. A presumed cardiac arrest was announced. Hamas personnel rushed on board, forcing passengers away. Operatives slid off the train quietly at next station, blending into confused crowds without suspicion. Extraction unfolded with mathematical precision. Each operative traveled separately using fragmented routes. One disappeared into a tunnel exit disguised as storm drain worker. Another boarded a bakery truck, heading toward checkpoint clearance. Their communication ended permanently once final checkpoint passed. Intelligence handlers destroyed operational devices physically. Reports were never emailed, only handwritten, then incinerated. Photographs were printed once, viewed briefly by analysts, then shredded. The assassination existed only in minds of participants and a single sealed archive file. Foreign ministries issued no comments. Israeli officials denied involvement. Hamas claimed martyrdom without providing evidence. News outlets repeated conflicting statements. In intelligence circles, professionals quietly admired the kill, noting its silent efficiency and psychological precision rather than explosive spectacle. The operation demonstrated evolution of targeted killing. No drones, no missiles, no massive collateral risk. Instead, assassination became chemistry, data science, and behavioral mining. Covert lethality now traveled inside ordinary commuter trains disguised as harmless environmental equipment. Passengers remembered only confusion. Someone fainted. Medics rushed. No explosion occurred. No gun was fired. Yet the strategic effect rivaled aerial bombardment. One engineer died quietly. Entire weapon development pipelines collapsed instantly, without public shockwave or international condemnation. That train carriage became historical pivot. Unknown to ordinary travelers, geopolitical equations shifted while wheels clattered across tracks. Intelligence analysts later described it coldly. A perfect operation requires no dramatic flourish. A silent death proved more terrifying than any visible strike. Some claim a final operative stayed on board, watching Shamshi's body being removed. Others insist every agent exited earlier. Intelligence records will never confirm truth. As with all refined eliminations, mystery becomes design feature, protecting participants and deepening psychological shock. When the train reached Gaza City terminal, emergency teams removed Shamshi's body under frantic supervision. No visible wounds complicated diagnosis. Hamas officials immediately declared suspicious circumstances, ordering secrecy, restricting photography, and confiscating phones from passengers believed to have filmed the collapse. Initial medical examination listed cardiac failure. However, military doctors noticed irregular neuromuscular shutdown patterns. They observed rigid pupils without typical clotting signatures. Toxicologists demanded full autopsy under controlled laboratory conditions. Rumors spread faster than results, creating atmosphere of internal panic. Autopsy occurred inside secure facility beneath Shifa Hospital. Specialists dissected organ samples, searching for exotic toxins. No common poisons appeared. Tissue seemed chemically normal. Yet, microscopic examination revealed unprecedented neural disruption consistent with theoretical compounds discussed only in foreign research publications. Investigators reviewed Carriage CCTV. Footage showed Shamshi boarding alone, sitting calmly, then collapsing abruptly. No assailant approached. No device appeared visible. Analysts replayed frames endlessly, convinced something must reveal anomaly. The footage revealed nothing except silence surrounding sudden biological shutdown. Security teams examined passengers. Several foreign-looking individuals boarded earlier and exited midway. Their faces matched no recorded aid workers. 2 carried backpacks never recovered. Forensic sweep found faint residue beneath seat frame, composition unknown to local laboratories. When foreign agencies reviewed imagery, analysts recognized operational signatures. Similar residue appeared previously in Damascus after unexplained death of chemical scientists. Classified assessments circulated quietly. Specialists concluded delivery mechanism utilized unique aerosol dispersal method requiring advanced research infrastructure. Diplomatic fallout began discreetly. Hamas accused Israel publicly. Israel issued categorical denial. Western governments remained silent, refusing comment. Regional media speculated endlessly, casting narrative as shadow duel between intelligence empires where science replaced bullets and invisibility replaced explosions. Internal power struggles erupted. Commanders demanded answers about compromised travel routes. Some suspected infiltrators inside security detailing. Secret arrests reportedly occurred within weeks. Interrogations produced confessions and conflicting testimonies, deepening paranoia throughout military engineering departments. Foreign intelligence units monitored reactions carefully. Analysts documented slowdown in rocket testing frequency. Supply pipelines paused. Technical workshops shifted underground. Killing one engineer achieved strategic paralysis without requiring bombed buildings, destroyed laboratories, or internationally controversial airstrikes. Ultimately, official investigative report declared unknown chemical agent delivered through unknown method. Case remains sealed, hidden inside locked archive within Senior Intelligence Directorate headquarters. His death classified not natural, not accidental, but undeciphered. Mystery became weapon, leaving science frightened of its own progress. Behind every silent killing exists an invisible state machine built from analysts, linguists, scientists, and accountants. They never hold rifles. They approve reagent purchases, forge travel itineraries, and justify budgets with phrases like national contingency safeguarding. Bureaucracy becomes the operational bloodstream of modern assassination. These agencies operate inside glass buildings with no external signage. Their corridors smell of recycled air and printer toner. Meetings involve performance metrics for elimination timelines. Success, measured by how little evidence remains after a body collapses without visible force. Internal memos describe engineers like Shamshi, not as humans but as system components. Terms include capability vector, disruptive multiplier, and removable node. Dehumanization enables clerks to authorize death with same detachment used when processing expired passport renewals. Inside intelligence folklore, operatives receive mythic titles. Silent Horizon are chemical dispersal specialists. Ember Ghosts manage proximity signature tracking. White Ledger control forged identities and financial laundering. Each unit described like ancient guilds maintaining forgotten arts in fluorescent-lit basements. Past operations whisper through hallways like ghost stories. A Syrian nuclear physicist poisoned by handshake microprick. An Iranian metallurgist whose heart stopped inside airport restroom. A Lebanese courier found sleeping forever inside hotel corridor. Files closed. Evidence vanished. Questions deliberately unanswered. One archive recounts failed mission in Tunisia, where target escaped by changing taxi unexpectedly. That file contains only 3 sentences. Failure acknowledged. Assets recalled. Method redesigned. Bureaucracy forgets nothing yet speaks rarely. Preserving operational emotionlessness, like sacred doctrine, decision-makers remain unseen above operatives. They approve directives through encrypted tablets while drinking office coffee. They appear ordinary bureaucrats, yet control calibrated violence. They are flawed strategists playing chess with real blood and irreversible technological consequences. His funeral drew thousands under grey coastal skies. Flags covered the coffin. Loudspeakers praised his scientific devotion. Children watched silently, realizing engineering genius could equal battlefield heroism. No rocket salutes erupted. Only whispered promises of vengeance drifted across sand-filled cemetery pathways. Within weeks, workshops shuttered or relocated. Replacement engineers struggled to decipher incomplete schematics. Funders panicked. Foreign suppliers withheld materials. A technical program built over 15 years collapsed quietly, proving single mine removal could cripple entire militant industrial pipeline. Regional analysts concluded his death altered equations more than any airstrike. Militants lost momentum. Israel gained strategic breathing room. Foreign intelligence agencies studied operation as template for future quiet eliminations targeting technologists rather than battlefield commanders. Years later, encrypted forums still debated final moments. Some insisted he sensed betrayal. Others believed technology failed him. Historians saw a deeper message. Modern warfare no longer required armies to defeat armies. It required removing thinkers before their ideas matured. In the end, his death changed little in grand geopolitical structure, yet it revealed a world where governments sanction invisible killers, where engineers become combatants, and where truth remains buried beneath classified archives and polished train floors still echoing with unanswered questions.